But let us go back and take a look at the highlights of the race so far. The flags were fluttering over the grid, 65 cars out there to play, 13 manufacturers, an Aston Martin and Audi front row. And a wonderful sight as the cars went around on their formation lap. So many nations coming out to play in this, the 70th rendition of the Spa 24 hours.
Penalty to car 99.
And it was a brilliant run down to the first corner, not from the pole starter, not from Maxime Martin, but from the driver on the outside of the front row, René Rast. Look, any second now, he's going to identify the lights have gone from red to green, put the sprint down in the number 2 Audi. And for Maxime Martin, he goes, okay, I lost that one, but I will tuck into second place. The number 7 Bentley had to start from pit exit. It was due to start at the back of the grid. It was stone last. That was the start of its race. And the number 1 Audi had qualified on pole position, was given a penalty. 3 minutes in the pits. It started 19th. That put it down to the tail of the order. Various runners, a Black Falcon Mercedes, the number 36 Walkenhorst BMW, and the 51 Ferrari all had their problems early on. You can see quite clearly what the problem was for Matt Griffin's Ferrari. Up front, some fantastic moments. Look for Raffaele Marciello, the yellow and black Mercedes, hunting down those ahead and putting in some fantastic passing manoeuvres in the first hour of the race. That was the damage to Matt Griffin's Pirelli. We got a brand new one on the left rear and rejoined the action. And an action there was aplenty, as you can see with these fantastic low-down shots. Action in the pit lane as well. That wasn't serious though. What was serious was what was happening at the front. The number 2 Audi holding off the 62 Aston Martin. The challenges were fierce, they were frequent and absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately for David Tipjo Biantaro, he had a little spin. His Ferrari was able to rejoin the race, the T2 Motorsport car, trickling back into the action. Leading the AM class, Chris Harris for Garage 59, having a fantastic run. And great to see the team Sun Energy 1 Mercedes looking good and going well. But the car that worked its way to the front of the field was the 62 Aston Martin, and that wasn't the last of the yellow flags. This was the car that caused it, the 89 Mercedes. A little problem for Philippe Giog, and that gave the opportunity for the field to pour into the pit lane and hope they'd got the timing of their pit stops right. Look at that super slow-mo action. Driver out, driver in. Don't have to rush too much. 65 seconds is the time you cannot go beneath in the pit stops. Then we got to the restart, the safety car pulled off and the 62 Aston Martin started to stretch its legs at the front of the field. At the tail end of the top 10, there was contact, and unfortunately the car that lost out was the 72 SMP Racing Ferrari. As you can see, a tap up the back, a puncture, and that's the point when you know your race has been spiked. Caution could be the byword, but when it's as close as it is in GT3 racing, you have to press on. The 62 Aston Martin was doing that, and doing it with massive aplomb. Diving as late as it possibly could. The sign said pit entry, they knew the way in. The number 2 Audi coming in at the same time, they both blinked together, no advantage gained. Several cars running a little bit wide, putting the dust up off the circuit, and unfortunately the Oman Racing Aston Martin was the one that came off worse there, clattering the barriers on the exit of the Lake Coombe twist, and that brought out the second full course yellow period. A chance for some to gain positions in the pit, and sadly for those who pitted under full race order, they were the ones that lost out. And one car going backwards was the number 29 Audi. It would have to fight its way back up to the front of the race, and that it most certainly did. Track conditions had become tricky, bits of debris around the circuit, great control, cleaned the track. And the car that really benefited through the second full course yellow was the number 8 Bentley up to the front of the field. And then a little bit of a moment, Andrea Cordarelli mauling his car, and more to the point, hitting the back of Ben Barnicoat's 58 McLaren. Repairs for the 63 Lamborghini, and they'd be hit with a further penalty for causing that incident. So for the Grasser Racing team, big frustration. Don't forget that was a car that worked its way up to 3rd place. It may still feature in the race, but this was the turn of the 23 Nissan to get it right, to move up into 3rd place, then into 2nd. But it was the number 8 Bentley leading the way and doing so really very well indeed. And then a moment for the number 14 Lexus for Alex Costa. It wasn't a kind moment that led to the car limping its way back round. Frustration for those left in the pit lane, as all those corners that have been cut so perfectly were wasted by that one little instant. The 911 Porsche always in the mix, just the tail end of the top 10. And then the number 17 Audi, suddenly it was 3 wheels on his wagon. 4 would have been better. So for Stuart Leonard on the exit of the Paul Frere curve, pulling off, bodywork scraping base of the car, couldn't get it back to the pits. That caused another full course yellow, as that was lifted with not a great deal of dignity by a flatbed and brought back towards the pits. But the number 8 Bentley, just even spectacular when leaving its pit stop. We approved of that very much in the commentary box, but a little caution may be required. Then the safety car withdrew one more time, and the lights were starting to come on as the sun went down over Spa-Francorchamps. Brilliant, moody time of the day, perhaps unsighted by the changing conditions. The number 90 Mercedes, big moment at where Blancpain flat out, but Jules Simkowiak got it back on the track. And then another problem, this time for the Herbert Porsche. Looked brilliant, but sadly they prefer it to be going around the track, not emitting smoke. Bodywork rubbing, but I fear it could be worse. The day turned to night here at Spa-Francorchamps. Number 8, though, fell down to 4th place after this full course yellow. The timing of their pit stop just a little unkind. Great work by the marshals. There is a week's worth of fitness work, all in the space of 1 minute. Little trouble getting back over the tyre wall, but that was absolutely fine. A bit more training for next year. He'll be back in the mix. So, with waved yellow flags around the circuit, it meant another safety car period. And it was all a chance for the order to change. So that's it. Leading the way, Kelvin van der Linde.